Hey everyone, have I here, bro? Video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, it is time for another edition of Best Teams, and this is the 10-year anniversary part 1. So with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in. And this is a momentous occasion because I didn't say Best Teams for Global. I said Best Teams because no longer I'm doing this as a global edition. Of course, we've synced, we've merged. And yeah, I'm excited to do my first ever Best Teams overall. So let's go ahead and talk disclaimer first. The term Best Teams is my opinion and is purely subjective. There is no official tier list or Best Teams ranking from Kosuke or Bandai. And when I look at these teams here, I look at leader skill, damage defense, special skills, bench strength and flexibility, overall game mode effectiveness, and just general overall gameplay. How I build the teams, you have the main rotations here. You know, first position, you want more defense than offense, but you want a combination of both now these days, and a combination of that in the second spot here. And then flex, you can just have a combination of many different things, and I do run a support unit. Now, you don't have to run a support unit. You can go ahead and use any of the alts to go ahead and substitute for that support unit, but I just like having that support unit in that third flex position. So with that, let's talk about last month's, or the final global edition Best Teams. This was previously on. This is the list beforehand, and I'll tell you what, this list has totally changed, right? So the number one is no longer number one, and some of these are no longer on the list anymore. And it's just kind of moved a bunch of different spots. So I'm fairly happy with the results. But man, it was a very, very difficult decision on figuring out the number 10 spot. I'll talk about that in a second. So moving on this, of course, the biggest changes for this 10-year anniversary part 1 is, of course, the new Dokkan Festival exclusive Super Vegito. The Tag Jito is a beast of a unit. It is a cheat code. It reminds me of like when Orange Piccolo came out. When you get to the final boss, you go ahead and transform and you get that active skill up and you have that taunt and he just counters those bosses to death. That's basically what's happening with Super Vegito here. Of course, you also have a nice big boost in the Super EZA to Buhan. He is leaps and bounds, really, really strong, comparable to other Super EZAs. And then, of course, the LR Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, LR 34 Goku. A very, very interesting unit that's on a lot of different teams, on a lot of different top teams here. You just see him popping up everywhere, and sometimes he supports, sometimes he's just there to do the damage that he does when he's at Super Saiyan 4. So, all right, with that, let's go into the honorable mentions. This is going to be a long video, by the way. So first and foremost, let's talk about the best 180% team here as an honorable mention. This would absolutely be a top 5 team if this was 200% to 220%, which is now the new meta. But I just left this out, right? It miscomplicates things when I look at 180% leaders and things of that nature. I assume that the new Gogeta is going to be a time limit leader on here and will basically catapult this up to the top 5. But I just wanted to at least have an honorable mention in this because this team is absolutely ridiculous as 180%. It can pretty much do anything at this point in time. Technically, he should be a top 10 team, but again, I have to omit some things. I have to have some rules in place. So another honorable mention here is the LR34 team, which is not a good team. All right, this is just an honorable mention here. I just want to say grade 8 power right now, as of right now, does not work that great. It does work. It just doesn't work that great comparable to the top 10 team here, but it does with his boosting ability is able to at least have some of these units survive where it used to not survive in current endgame content. So it's a little shout out to grade 8 power and LR34 here. Another team that I was happily surprised that it was kind of in the running was Vegeta's family and Super Saiyans. Because of this unit right here, which was, I forgot to mention this in my breakdown, this is the first Goku Vegeta team, or Vegeta unit, that shares Goku's family and Vegeta's family, because this is a reverse, what do they call it, reverse, it's not tag, we call it tag, but reverse exchange, and usually the exchange units don't have the other person's category on there, but this is the first time Goku and Vegeta's family is on a Goku and Vegeta unit. So yeah, I was very surprised and forgot about doing that. Now this is still a Super Saiyan, so it would fit on this team here, But if it wasn't, now you can get buffed from Vegeta's, from King Vegeta here on that Vegeta's family buff there. So really fun team. It's just it's there. It's top 15 or so, somewhere in those rankings. And I gotta give a shout out to the Vegeta's family. Unfortunately, this guy didn't help out too much. So now let's talk about these next 3 honorable mentions. I'm trying to go quickly here because we can get to the top 10. These are very close to the number 10 spot. And I'll tell you what, maybe that 10 spot there is a little bit of a lifetime achievement award for the top 10 spot, but these were very close. I kind of went back and forth. So starting with this one right here is the Dirty Fireworks Vegeta. So you can just look at this team and you go, wow, this is a great team. But the Dirty Fireworks Vegeta does limit this team here. It is a floater position, so it's not as important than the main rotations because the main rotations are fantastic. But it has an interesting animation of facing one enemy, and it's all its base stats of 180% to attack and defense and key +3. There are situations and certain fights, if he's on like a turn 7 and then the second stage it's like 2 characters that you have to fight, he's not going to activate his interest animation. He's going to not have 180% of stats. So it's kind of tricky. It's not as big of a deal because most fights are going to be that first enemy is going to be one enemy. So, but it is just something to think about. And one of the reasons why I didn't have him in the top 10 is just slight issues like this, because these rotations are fantastic, right? So yeah, he's right there. It's like 10B or 10C from 10A there. So just give a shout out to the Gifted Warriors and Dirty Fireworks Vegeta. Dirty Fireworks in the mix. Almost top 10. Another almost top 10 here is Master Roshi. So Master Roshi is Turtle School, and again, Turtle School is now a part of the Super Vegito unit because of that whole that plus the tag dynamic reverse exchange, and you have Vegeta's family, Goku's family, and you have Turtle School on there. But the biggest issue here is, yes, Master Roshi supports everything. So that 50% support to these amazing rotations of LR Vegito and LR 34 Goku, and then the rotation of MUI Goku there. But you have it for 7 turns before he loses his damage reduction of 30%. He's fine within 7 turns, but after that, it is going to be an issue. So if you can get to 7 turns, you can turn on Super Vegito, and you can have that taunt mechanic where he counters everybody and kills everybody. You're going to be fine. But there are going to be situations where after turn 7, him as that floater spot there, hopefully you have him as full dodge and could possibly manage not dying. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind when you're running this team here. Great team. Again, very close to the top 10. And the last one I want to discuss is Daima Goku, Transformation Boost Dragon Ball Seekers. Transformation Boost is amazing. The biggest issue with this team here, right, is one that doesn't have Super Vegeta, which is not the end-all be-all in the top 10, but it is important, is that, look at the units. The bench strength on this is incredible, but he's tied up in first or second position. If Goku was able to have 70% dodge in floater position, I think this would be easily in the top 10. Again, it's very close, but he's tied up, right? He's tied up in that first or second position. And yes, can you run it in third position? Sure, but it's not going to run in your favor, right? Because in first or second position, he has that additional 20% to dodge, and that's going to make it, more reasonable for him to not get absolutely destroyed, especially on a super attack. So these 3 teams here are very close to the top 10, but let's figure out what the top 10 looks like. I know we're 9 minutes in already, so fast forward, hopefully for those who will fast forward ahead. So here it is, top 10 here. Again, I think the top 10 spot I just gave it just because I'm like, it's been on the top 10 list for so long, I can't drop it off yet. And I think it's going to move to the top pretty soon in part 2. But coming in at number 10 spot, Movie Heroes, hanging on by a thread. Like a tiny thread, because any one of these could have easily been in the top 10. Some of you guys might have already said, yeah, I think Turtle School's top 10 or Daima Goku's top 10 or any one of those. But again, I'm going to give Movie Heroes their spot here. Of course, we do have the Super Gogeta EZA there. Remember, Super Gogeta and Super Saiyan Gogeta does have different names, so the the physical Gogeta there, it's still going to link up very well with that. You have LRGGT here for that additional defensive support, and it's still a fun team to run. It's not top tier anymore, but you have Gogeta running at 200% in 4 spots. So anyway, solid team here. Coming in number 10 is the physical Gogeta and movie heroes. Let's move on to the number 9 spot, which may surprise a lot of you here. Number 9, dropping out of the top 5 to the 9th spot, is Universal Survival Saga. You might go, wait a minute, that's absolutely crazy. It was like the 3rd best team. I told you, things have changed, okay? Things have changed. So, again, still all these are incredible teams, right? Just slight things that I go, okay, I rather have. Super Vegito is one of them. So Super Vegito is not on this team here. And of course, we do have issues of having the 2 Tech UI Gokus on here, waiting for the transformation, not maybe doing enough damage until that happens. And of course, when he is able to counter at that point in time, you have Beast Gohan here only at 170%, along with Gotenks at 170%. So not as ideal. Beerus is running 170%. So all these top units on here is running at 170%. Now, of course, we do have the other Universal Survival Saga leader in Jiren and the Blue Eyes Vegeta here. That still didn't save it from losing a top 5 spot. I think the other teams that I'm going to be talking about are more deserving, and I think they are just better than the Universal Survival Saga team at this point in time. Even at 220, right? 220, very, very, very strong team, very powerful. I just running it with various different fights, I just like the other teams better. Again, just a preference, subjectiveness. But I think some of you guys might have this still in the top 5, and I'm okay with that. But I do have them in the 9th spot. Speaking of a big drop, number 8 is movie bosses, right? A lot of people still think like this is the best unit in the game. Well, maybe the 2nd best unit in the game in Tech Broly here. I'm not saying that he's not good, right? He is top tier, maybe top 3 in the game here. But the team that he's on has lost a lot of its benefits in terms of, one is I separated uncontrollable power. So you'll see uncontrollable power somewhere else, and it would make a lot more sense of where I have it and why this is the number 8 spot here. The bench to this is atrocious. You can see, look at the bench. Like, I put Tech TUR Janemba there because I'm hoping an easy ace pretty soon, because we need more units on here to make sense of all this. Now, I did put the double Janembas on here as an option, but it's not very cohesive and comparable to all the other teams right now. You have way better main rotations than this. Again, this rotation is fantastic. This is one of the best rotations out there, but ultimately I think the bench strength hurts this the worst, or the most, and that's why I have it in the number 8 spot. So, surprise probably to a lot of you guys, but you guys will probably be happy for those who like this movie bosses team or prior to. Uncontrollable power is higher, all right? So, come in number 8, movie bosses, Tech Broly. Yeah, surprise. Come in number 7, which I don't think it actually moved spots. It just hung on, like I hung on for dear life, is LRGGT. So LRGGT, of course, is that multi-turn support there. You do have the Super Vegito and Gogeta rotation, in my opinion, one of the top as there. Now, you are running Super Vegito as a at 170% along with Namek Goku. But as you can see, the bench is much stronger. You have a lot of different other rotations on this if you don't have these units. I think the overall gameplay is really fun. You have that additional 77% for multiple turns. You do have some standby opportunities. You can run Family Kamehameha Gohan instead of another support unit to do some more damage if you like. A lot of different things that you can run with LRGGT. All Struggle Super Saiyan's Power Wishes is a great combination. But I wish it would had another, instead of Movie Heroes or something else, and Connected Hope, something else to not make some of these units at 170%. That's the reason why it's only at number 7. It would be a lot higher if Super Vegito wasn't running at only 170%. But still, amazing team here, very strong. And again, that bench strength is just so much better in movie bosses. I think standalone here, this is probably a better team. But if you're missing a couple units, good luck, right? Whereas you can, swap out and do a lot of different things here, and even switch rotations where you can move this into second position on various different stages there. So anyway, moving on to the number 6 spot, which again may be surprising you, very similar to this team here. So 6 and 7, I kind of went back and forth. I was like, okay, which one feels better? But I think it's the flexibility of the number 6 team that gave it to the number 6 spot, and that's Glorio's team. You have Demonic Power, Battle Wits, Accelerated Battle, and you can see here it's very similar, right? The difference is you have Beast Gohan versus Gogeta, and I think Gogeta is better than Beast Gohan. Easy A Gogeta here. But the difference here is that Glorio has a lot of different flexibility in terms of building another team, because it can build this team here with running the best TUR, or at least Easy A TUR rotation in Kid Buu, Easy A STR Kid Buu, and Super Easy A Buuhan. That rotation is insane. Buuhan does so much damage, and with that orb changing and getting enough orbs, and you're not dying because he's healing like crazy, he's, creating like crazy, his damage is out of control. Yeah, it's fantastic. So GGT can't do that, right? So the flexibility in that team, it's not there, whereas this team here can kind of go back and forth if you're running one more super, or you want to have a combination of extreme. And don't forget Buuhan here, his domain, when he hits his domain, there's no negativity to his domain. He just improves all the boos, and then Majin Buu Saga units like Super Vegito here, it's just a boost, 15% boost there during his domain. So that's the reason why I have him in the number 6 spot. So number 7, number 6, you got Glorio. Now let's go ahead in the top 5. So top 5, again, kind of very similar to 6 and 7 is Family Kamehameha. So Kamehameha, 200%. The thing is, everybody's running at 200% here. So you have a Gogeta, Vegito rotation, right? Easy A Gogeta, Super Vegito rotation, 200% monster. Then you have Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks rotation. LR34 buffs Gotenks. So huge benefit there. And yes, the biggest issue is Gohan. We know his turn 1 issues, right? If you can get past the turn 1 issues, right, he's going to be fine. Yes, he can. Only one person can go standby. One Gohan can go standby. The other person's going to be there. It's going to be in a floater position, so it's going to be fine in most cases. I really didn't have a problem when I was doing events. So then, especially if you have the LRGGT 77% boost up, you're fine. Everyone's fine. Everyone's doing good. You're doing quite a bit of damage, right? LRGGT is boosting up by 50% there as well. So fantastic team, just a solid overall, as long as you can get past the whole Gohan first turn kind of thing. So that's the number 5 spot there. Number 4 and number 3 are the 2 in the top 5 that doesn't have Super Vegito, but it's in my comfort zone. Like when I run these teams, I don't have any problems. Like if I in the wrong rotation, it works fine. If I'm in a tough spot, he's going to be fine. It has a revival mechanic. So coming in number 4 is Uncontrollable Power. So for those who are like, oh man, how do you have movie bosses and Tech Broly in the number 8 spot? Well, again, I separated those before they were combined together, because generally speaking, the number 8 spot in movie bosses was all Brolys. And this team, when this team came out initially, was all Brolys. Now it's not all Brolys. Buuhan and Kid Buu, again, amazing rotation, and now he's going to get supported. And then the Super Saiyan 3 LR34 Goku supports the Brolys, right? This team is fantastic. I had 0 issues completing everything. I was just hanging out. Did I miss? If I get locked somewhere, no problem. I just, in the next turn, no one's dying anywhere. And then I have a revival mechanic, right? If I fall into trouble, then Broly dies, great. He gets a huge boost. If someone else dies during that revival, great. I still get the huge boost. So yeah, nothing to say about this. Now, I did do something that I've never done before here, and that is merge another team that didn't have the same leader skill with this team here, and I did not give it its own spot. And the reason why it's so similar to the same team that I'm like, I can't just give it its own spot. So I did merge it together. And that's actually the Power Absorption Transformation Boost team with the Dokkan Festival exclusive Tech Buhan. So this team here, like literally, like it's the same team. So all you're doing is you're moving the Broly with the Super Saiyan 34 on top, where I don't have Beerus on this team here, and I move LR34 down here as another support. So yeah, it's the same team here. It's just, again, I think this is better, and this is a secondary team that you can run. Maybe if you, I guess you can combine the two, right? I didn't even think about that. If you don't have like one of the Brolys, you can run the friend, but if you have the Buhan, you can run Buhan and you run the Broly, and it all then just works out. So again, you can't run, Beerus on here, but you can run LR34 and then everybody else. So give it a shot. I actually didn't even thought about it until now, but that's why having the number 4 is a very versatile, flexible, strong, comfortable team. Very comfortable. And yes, it doesn't have LR Super Vegito, but hey, with all these units on here, you're going to be just fine. So now coming at number 3, some of you guys are just like, oh, I'm just tired of seeing this team on the top list. I just have to put it on the top list. It's Beast Gohan. So he continues, he was number 1, right? He just moved to number 3. Can I move him out of the top 5? I don't know. I don't think so. You talk about comfortability. He's as comfortable as this team here. He did get an upgrade with LR34 on this. He doesn't buff up Gohan, which would have been awesome if it was Power Beyond Super Saiyan. And then he provides the buff on there, but LR34 provides the additional damage that you might be looking for on this team here. But by the time you're fighting the end boss on there, Beast Gohan has boosted up his attack so much that he does enough damage, right? And yes, his damage mitigation, some of his defense does go away, toward the end here, but I just never have problems. You have the revival on here with both, MUI Goku and Vegeta on here. Then you have the opportunity to start dodging with MUI Goku, Tech UI Goku. Yeah, you guys know this team already. It's the basically same team with LR34 on it. So coming number 3, Superheroes Beast Gohan still stays in the top 5. I was trying to give it like, oh no, anybody without Super Vegito is not in the top 5. I couldn't. Maybe some of you guys could. I couldn't. So coming number 3, Beast Gohan. Coming number 2, 2 and 1's kind of a no-brainer. So coming number 2 is Majin Buu Saga. For some apparent reason, Dokkan loves the Majin Buu Saga. Super Vegito at 200% is fantastic, along with just damage everywhere. There's just so much damage that I'm okay with having some issues with some defense here and there. So much damage. So Gotenks does crazy damage. Ultimate Family Command Gohan, you put him on standby, crazy damage. He can then deal with any kind of other damage on that as well. And then Super Vegito activates. You can put him in first position. You do that active skill, and then everyone's dead. Everyone's dead with Majin Buu Saga. So now you can run this team here. You can run the variation. You can run that rotation I've been talking about with the EZA Buhan or Super EZA Buhan and Kid Buu, or even run them in Gotenks in a floater position, right? So a lot of team flexibility here. Really, really great. The damage alone just had me boosted up to the number 2 spot. So yeah, coming in number 2 is Majin Buu Saga, and then there's of course the number 1, right? It has to be Vegito. That's right, the number 1 spot, Vegito. Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, it's not this Vegito team. No way, it's not this Vegito team. It is Tag Vegito. Goku, Vegeta, Tag, Super Vegito here. Number 1 team, Earth protecting fighters. And really it's Pure Saiyans that makes this team what it is. I was looking for a new Pure Saiyans leader. And this is it. This is actually 250, 220% leader skill. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely tremendous here. But even better is when you transform, right? Like you start out here. Beast Gohan, Gogeta, gonna tank everything. You have that Hercule there just boosting up everybody, and then you go boom, and everyone's dead. Super Vegeta, active skill, taunt, counter, dead. Yes, you're running Gogeta at 170%, or I'm sorry, not 170%, 170 and then HP 200%. Everyone's still dead. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, dead. Everyone's dead, damage. It's everyone. It's yeah, best team in the game. What else can I say? Not much. So yeah, coming in number 1, Earth Protecting Fighters, Fuse Fighters, Pure Saiyans. Yeah, Super Vegito reigns supreme. We'll see in part 2 though. It's gonna be interesting. So here's a summary of my top 10 here. Some of you guys might have issues. I think that 3 and 4 spot, I can see where you guys might have issues there. I can see Universal Survivor Saga fans are like, no way, it's still in top 5. I understand that too. You know, make your case in the comment section below. But yeah, ultimately, you know, these could be in the top 10 as well. But coming in, and just doing a quick summary here, coming in number 10 spot, Movie Heroes, Universal Survival Saga, number 9, Movie Bosses, number 8. Again, a lot of surprise, probably a lot of people here. LRGGT is number 7, Glorio's number 6, Family Kamehameha, number 5, Uncontrollable Power with a subcategory with the Tech Buhan is number 4, Beast Gohan just as Beast Gohan, number 3, Majin Buu Saga, Dokkan Loves Them, number 2, and then the number 1 spot, Super Vegito, without a doubt. No problem there. There's your top 10 for part 1, and I'm sure part 2 is going to shake things up as well. So let me know in the comment section below. Agree, disagree, all that stuff there. And if you are new to my channel, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. Keep on Dokkaning, and we will catch you next time. Later.